Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video going over the weekly dev livestream. They did not announce a whole lot in this week's livestream. It was mostly Q&A and going over some of the decisions they have made. But before I get into that, there was something not on the dev livestream, but it was when they were live streaming games from the G-Star event. And that is this. They showed a new Jake cosmetic that is not yet in the game. It is unknown whether this is going to be like a code or something later on. But there is a new Jake cosmetic out there. It is just not released yet. Now let's move on to what was discussed in the live stream. There is now a new and better way to report people in the game. So they have created this new report form. And what it does is that you basically fill out this form, and once you do that, it is sent directly to the mods when you fill out everything in the form. This makes it a lot easier for you to file a report, and it's also a lot easier on the mods in going through these reports. Now you have to know you must fill out everything on the form before you can send it, and the most important part of the form is that you include proof, because hard proof is the most important thing they need in these reports. This new form means that you will no longer have to contact customer support via email or try and contact the mods directly in order to report somebody. All you have to do is fill out the form. Moving on, they talked about the dailies and why they made the decision to change how they work. So the way they explained it is, we removed the Tier 2 and 3 dailies, keeping only the Tier 1 dailies. Some didn't change the amount of BP awarded. For others, we adjusted the blood point values as well as the values for the task. Example here, instead of having to sacrifice 4 survivors, you have to sacrifice 2 survivors, and then the blood points would be adjusted accordingly for the new amount. What they wanted to emphasize is that the important thing to keep in mind is that proportionally, you are still awarded the same amount of blood points for your action. For example, a daily that says to get 2 sacrifices will award half the blood points of a daily that says to get 4 sacrifices. Then there was a question that said, what was the motivation to keeping it to small daily rituals? Well, they want dailies that you can complete with a low amount of effort and that you can do every day. We are looking for ways to make objectives more challenging and give a better reward for the players who want it. So even though the new dailies have this lower amount, they did say that they are working on other ways to award players blood points, so we might have something coming in the future to make up for the loss of those dailies that gave great reward, but also had a higher difficulty in being able to complete them. Next, they talk about the development process of the nurse's Halloween cosmetic. I'm not going to go over this since it does not have anything to do with what is coming to the game or changes they will make to the game, but I will insert a link in the description below to the time. It is at 36 minutes and 55 seconds on the YouTube channel and 1 hour and 7 minutes on their Twitch channel. So if you're interested in hearing how the nurse's Halloween cosmetic was developed and produced, you can go check it out there because they do a better job at explaining it than I can. Now, this next part, I'm going to go a little out of order, but first I'm going to talk about the roadmap here. So as always, keep in mind that this is just a soft plan for what's coming. It is not set in stone. So next up we have the Wraith update, and that will bring all the changes to Wraith and some of his perks. After the Wraith update is the Emblems Point System update public test build. This emblem system will be a rework of how you are scored throughout the match and how you pip. They say that this new emblem system is going to be a more dynamic system. After that will be the winter event, and then after that will be the complete release of the Emblems Point System update. So now I'm going to go over some of the questions asked in the Q&A because Since it was mostly a Q&A stream, I figured I'd just pick out the questions that were the most important and tell them to you. So that is why I went over the roadmap first, is because some of these questions ask about some things from the roadmap. Again, these are not all the questions that were asked in the stream. These are only the ones that I think are the most relevant. How will the new emblem system award players for playing how they want to play? This new system will have much broader categories. Example, getting points for stealth. So the way they explain it is that the survivors will basically just be able to get more points for doing more things in the game, and you will be able to, I guess, pip in a more dynamic way. Next question. You mentioned map reworks. How are you planning on doing this? Can you elaborate? Answer. The map reworks will not be changing the layouts of existing maps per se. What we are doing is like what we did to the Foundry on Ironworks, where we removed some railings so the flow is better. We are gonna keep doing those little changes. And we are also looking at palette placement and distribution. That's the kind of thing we are talking about. Another thing we are looking at are the spawning rules for the maps. Not just for survivors and killers, but also for hooks, totems, chests, etc. So this means that a lot of new balance changes are coming to maps. So next question, what is the center of your design philosophy when it comes to chasing and hiding? Do you guys want short-lived chases or long ones? Answer, the ideal moments for us is in the short chases. Right now there is this meta strategy for survivors to waste as much of the killer's time as possible. But for us, the goal is to have short, exciting chases rather than long ones that don't lead to anything. And that is the reason why they are also doing the map rework, is because of that meta of wasting the killer's time with long chases. Next question. Since Dead Hard was a great design success, are you planning on releasing more active perks, such as perks for both killer and survivor that would have shared cooldowns? Answer, yes, but with lots of delicate rules. The biggest example of this is that if you equip 3 active ability perks, what button do you use for that? It is not a simple thing, but we definitely want to do more. Next question, does the emblem system rework the rank system as well, such as the introduction of leagues? Answer, the league system will be something different, but rank will be changing with the emblem system. Next question, will there be proximity voice chat? The answer is a simple no. Next question, console-specific skins. The answer is yes, they are coming. So console players, you guys have something to look forward to. And this last question, will you guys be adding a colorblind mode? Answer, we really want to. We talked about trying different aura colors, but it is still in the discussion state. And that is all for the Q&A. Now let's move on to the last few slides where they were talking about bugs and stuff in the game. So this first slide, they kind of changed it up from how they've been doing it in the past. And the first thing we have here is testing a fix internally. So right now they're testing nurse blinking behind the house in bottom. They're testing foundry generator placement, the foundry window palette. They are testing save game error 200 and 201, and then killers starting without abilities. Next slide is the bugs they are aware of. So basically this is what used to be the top 5 bugs. So they are looking into the trophy, where did they go, not awarding properly on all platforms. They are looking into the buggy mist and offerings on PC, because right now on PC the mist is a little thicker than it was normally, and they said the reason this bug happened was because they did some optimizations with the mist in the last hotfix, and that is what is making it look a little thicker than it should be. But they said that the optimizations they did have worked and have increased the game's performance on PC. They are just figuring out why the mist is showing up thicker than it should. The next bug that they are aware of is the spectate mode character swapping, and if you do not know this bug, it is the arrows not appearing when you're in spectate mode. You can still click where the arrows are, or where they used to be, and it will switch between the characters, but the arrows do not appear. Sometimes spectate mode bugs out where you cannot switch between different characters, and then there's also this bug where if the person you're spectating leaves the match or dies, it resets your view to your character, but since you're not in the game, it just shows this white emptiness, and then you have to click the non-existent arrows to get to a survivor who is alive in the match. After that, they are aware of the generator sound issue, which, if you have not heard this, it is the most noticeable on Red Forest, where complete generators sound really weird because they give off this weird popping sound. And then they are also looking into players being kicked out of matches, and excuse me for not saying this, but all of those were across all platforms. As you can see, the bugs are associated with the platform they are on. And finally, this last slide is the bugs they are working on. So the Stuck Impala bug, most noticeably in the shack, is being worked on across all platforms. They are working on the DirectX 11 and Windows 8 issue on PC. Then they are looking into Azerov's having 1 or 3 gates issue. Yes, Azerov's now can have 3 exit gates, and it's on all platforms. So, Azeroth's resting place is being a bit weird for us with the exit gates. Next, they are working on sessions closing after suspension on the Xbox, and then on all platforms, they are looking into killers clipping into hooked survivors. And that is my summary of this week's dev livestream. So, in the description below, I'm going to put links to the livestream on both their YouTube and Twitch channels, as well as a direct link to the time they start talking about the nurse development process on their YouTube video. And then I will also put a link to the new Dead by Daylight report forums, as well as the Steam forum posts they made to talk about the new report form. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and as always, good luck out there in the fog, and see ya next time.